Okay, Dan the Fourth, pilot Blue Gremlin, and the Stormweaver. We are deep in the free world storyline. We've got a huge fleet. So we're just gonna completely destroy the Republic uh, ships when they show up to fight. Um, let's look at the job board. We have to meet with Freya back in Rostbahn. So we're going to jump down there. Uh, let's see if we've got any jobs that we can do that we'll do after. Nothing appears to be jumping out at me. Colonist to Cornucopia. No, let's see, because I got 1,200 bucks. I guess we can go to Cornucopia eventually. Uh, yeah. All right. So, and what's this in Alioth? Mining. Yeah, we don't do mining. Okay. Off to uh, Dancer, the Rostabon system. And it looks like there's best price for industrial. So I'm assuming that's a load of lathes or backhoes or something. Backhoes would be equipment. Industrial is probably uh, chemicals and machine parts. All right, so we don't have any fines to pay. Art. Go to fast forward. Random pirates, and here we are in Rustbahn system. And let's wait for all those cruisers to catch up. There we go. All right, you deliver the care package of razor blades. Oh, that's right. They needed 3 tons of razor blades to the specified address and explain to the people where the care package came from. They thank you for delivering it. Yeah, thanks for the 6 pallets of razor blades, and you collect your payment of 4,240 credits. You drop off the cargo of sunflower seeds and collect your payment of 26,100 credits. And then antique film reels and collect your payment. I actually drove truck for a while, like a year and a half, and we had some weird loads. Yeah, that can happen. As soon as you land, Freya shows up at your ship with a small suitcase full of clothes. No time to waste, she says. Let's get going. Our first target will be Hope, since we know for a fact that they were installing something there. Oh, yeah, we're using Freya to. Uh, oh, noes. Remember when we couldn't capture that spy ship? Oh noes. Eyewitness reports of Navy gunboats armed with flamethrowers indicate that designs for the flamethrower was among the data stolen by that Republic intelligence spy ship. Oh crap, that's not good. I guess I should have tried another 20 times to capture it. Every time I destroyed it. Maybe I should have just left it destroyed. I don't know. All right. So we're going to hope there is no life on that planet. That's the one where the homes are buried under 30 meters of glacier, adding to my passenger list people that I'm ferrying around. I'm ferrying them all over the place, and we're getting into all these battles, and they're in, they're in luxury quarters on these warships. It's funny. Okay. Yeah, there's nothing there, so let's go to Hope. Wait for all of our cruisers and frigates to catch up, and our one roost that does not have a jump drive. Good grief. Come on, guys. All right, landing on Hope with Freya looking for intelligence installations. As you approach the planet, Freya sits down at your ship's sensor console and begins fiddling with some settings that you didn't even know existed. She seems entirely focused and clearly knows what she's doing. You recall being told that she is an engineer, not a politician or a military commander, which makes the fact that she has been able to step up to be such a strong leader in the council very impressive. Yep, 8 different stations, she says, finally, including this one that I nearly overlooked, buried 10 meters under the ice, that is acting as a relay for them. She points out each station on your map, and you fly by each one and destroy it. Now, she says, that was what had me most worried, but for the sake of completeness, we should sweep the other new worlds too. Let's go to Clark next. All right, Clark is this kind of remote, awkwardly placed world, but it has a shipyard. All right, we'll land on Clark. Once again, Freya works some sort of magic with your ship's sensors and manages to locate another surveillance station right in the middle of the city, she says. We'll have to go there on foot and disable it. Are you worried that it might be guarded? Or, okay, I'll grab my favorite guns and explosives. Okay, I'll grab my favorite guns and explosives. Now, she says, we just convinced this world to join us. Let's not go blowing up their whole factory district. I don't see any human heat signatures, but you can bring your weapons anyway, just in case. Warily, you approach the sensor installation, probably rolling and losing my pistol a few times, kicking down the door to an old abandoned warehouse. Freya is right, it's not guarded. She shuts down the transmitter, then asks for your help bringing some of the sensors and other equipment back to your ship. I always love having a chance to look at Navy technology, she says. Now let's head to New Holland. All right, and I guess I could have brought trade goods here. Let's look at the job board, see if we can add to our passenger roster. Family of 8. Is this going to men? Nobody. Oops. Micah. Family of 3 mill workers going to Oasis. All right. And what do we have here? Size posing as a merchant ship. Yeah, posing as a merchant ship. Mining, escort. Nope, nothing. Okay. So we're going to go to Alpheka. They are paying well for electronics. At least we know what that is. Showed up to fight. Let's capture it. Captured another cruiser, just what we need. You spend quite a while flying back and forth along the surface of New Holland, but Freya is unable to locate any Navy signals originating from the surface. Finally, she gives up. It's an out-of-the-way planet, she says. Any fleet coming here would pass through Alioth or Saginas first, so I guess they didn't bother to put anything here. Time to head to New Tibet and meet up with Alondo. All right, trading, pay some bills. Job board. Uh, Fleet of large marauder ships. That's it. So unless they're right there, we're gonna not take that. 85 people. Nice. Take that. Escort jobs. Janitorial robots. Refrigerators. Okay. So if those marauders are waiting for us in Alioth, we'll take them out. Otherwise, that'll just be another one we ignore. Nope, they're not there. Okay, we will land. As you approach New Tibet, Freya quickly locates two Navy surveillance stations and contacts Alondo, asking him to send some Free Worlds personnel to destroy them. Then you land, and Alondo comes aboard your ship to discuss your next steps in person. There's a good chance we've taken care of all the sensors in this sector, says Freya, so we can start moving our fleets around here without tipping the Navy off. And I just heard from southbound shipyards that they've got two more dreadnoughts ready for service. Uh, don't we need to defend Rostaban and the other systems to the east as well? Yes, says Freya, which means our fleets will be stretched thin. We really need them to ramp up dreadnought production. Alondo asks Freya, do you think you could help them in the shipyard? After all, you were a superb fleet supply manager back in the Defense Pact days. I'll do what I can if you think you're all set here, says Freya. I'm fine, says Alondo, and JJ is on Rostaban now, guarding our other flank, so you can take a break from being on the front. He heads back outside, and you and Freya get ready to visit the shipyards on Zug. Zug. All right, we're going to Zug. And they need supplies, so we can take them. 3 tourists want to see Skymoot. Family of 7. 3 passengers. Oh, that's a rush job. Not going to take that. Sheet metal. Supplies. Passenger to Humanica. Pretty much always take those. And what's this to Sargass? Nope. Okay. Off to Zug. Oh, what do we have here? Fleet of large marauder ships led by a vessel named the Cruel God. I like that. Fly through, fly through. That's it. All right. So if they're in way, we'll encounter them. Otherwise, we're going directly to Zug. Nope, they're not there. Okay, off to Zug. There's a shipyard here, so anybody we destroy will capture and sell. The captain of Haji's Zenith thanks you for escorting them safely, and the shipyard pays you 270,000 credits for helping to deliver the supplies. As you are landing on Zug, Freya says, I miss Katya. It's hard being the only woman on the council. Uh, don't worry. The Navy said they're trying to find her and return her to us. I don't know, she says. I hope the Navy will keep their promise. But in the meantime, 3 people on council is too few. We didn't want to say anything to you until the Senate cleared it, but we've nominated you to take Tomek's spot on the council. What do you say? Well, of course, I'd be honored, thank you. She grins. Don't mention it. You've been with us since the beginning, and we've all come to trust what you have to say. I wish we could throw you a big dinner or something to celebrate, but, well, we're all busy with the war right now. But Alondo and JJ both said to tell you they're glad to have you on board, and you'll get a salary increase, of course, which you ought to celebrate by buying us both a few drinks in the spaceport bar before you leave. Okay. Or, okay. Okay, I'll meet you back in the spaceport in a few hours. Great, she says. See you then. She picks up her suitcase and hurries over to the shipyard. So let's go to the shipyard. We got some ships that we captured that we don't really particularly want to keep, I suppose. All right, and we're going to sell those. Million. And what is this? This is a frigate. And this is a cruiser. Add it to our inventory here. Where'd my cruiser go? There it is. This is a pain, but if you don't do it, you end up with a mess and you go looking for something and you can't find it. All right, there we go. And let's go to the outfitter. Nothing that I'm seeing that we need or want here. All right. To the spaceport. Freya turns out to be a whiskey drinker. By the time she finished her first drink, pla- she is chattering quite passionately about starship design, load balancing, stress lines, shield matrices, shipboard computers. Rather than dulling her intelligence, alcohol just seems to reduce her ability to explain things in ways a non specialist can understand. I can understand that. You try to, back when I was doing computer programming, I would get like that. And you can just see people's eyes glass over. Rather you try to steer the conversation towards something less technical. So, why did you join the council initially? Where's your home planet? Or how long do you think it will be before they're mass producing? Where's your home planet? I grew up on Earth, she says, deep in the bowels of one of the major cities. Even as a kid, I hated that dirty old planet and knew my only shot of leaving there was to be smarter than everyone else. It wasn't until years later when I came back to visit with some money in my pocket and a bit more perspective that I was able to travel to the few parts of Earth that are still pretty and realize how precious our home world is. You hang out in the bar for another hour or so, and then she says to the bartender, 2 bottles of champagne to go, please. He gives her an odd look, but the council is well enough respected that he does not question her. You walk over to the shipyard where the two newly completed dreadnoughts are parked side by side. Time to christen our new ships, she says, handing you one of the bottles. You each fling a bottle at one of the ships and shout out, for victory, for peace, for justice. For justice. May it come soon, echoes Freya. Now, tomorrow morning, the crews for these ships will be ready and we'll need you to escort them to Clark. I'll stay here and do my best to help manage the equipment supply chain and construction crews. She says goodnight and wishes you a safe journey tomorrow. Okay, so we're going back to Clark, which is up here. And got a family of 7 and 47 tons of nylon fibers. A fleet of large marauder ships, another fleet of large marauder ships, and another fleet of large marauder ships, and then a fleet of regular marauder ships. Hey, the pirate problems around Zug are a real problem. A wanted criminal is fleeing in a stolen ship, the Moonlight Day, which is about to enter this system. No, that's a time sensitive job. Escort to cornucopia, time sensitive, time sensitive. Some of these might not get fulfilled for a long time. Nope. 57 people hoping to join a colony. Hope you're up for a long trip, guys. Family of 13 to Terrazed. 6 passengers to Wayfarer for Christmas. Now, 3 tourists to see Wayfarer. All right. And I think that's about it. So we're going to Clark. And we're going to stop in Zubin el Ganubi to see if there's a whole lot of marauders there. If there isn't, I might jump from Eldaria instead. So what do they need? They're paying well for plastic. All right. Zubin El Ganubi. Go off. Fast forward. Oh, there's some there. They're just about activated. Marauder Leviathan. Firebird. Another Firebird. And another Firebird. The Shock Cat and their fleet have been eliminated. And the Sparrow. Alright. Let's jump to Itharia and see if there's any there. There aren't. So we'll now jump to Clark. The Foul Spike and their fleet have been eliminated. Another frigate. Alright, well, let's land. Those dreadnoughts that are with us and the other escort ships keep blowing up every ship that I try to capture. You drop off your cargo of nylon fiber and collect your payment. The family you've been in transporting departs your ship after paying you 67,000 credits. Waiting for you on Clark is a message from Elondo. Hello, Captain. We've got another minor crisis. A merchant fleet was supposed to bring us a shipment of medical supplies from up north, since many of our worlds are running short. But the Republic is threatening to attack the convoy if they try to cross over into our space. So they're waiting on New Kansas just inside of the Republic's territory. Please go meet up with the fleet and bring it back to New Tibet. Well, that sounds dangerous. Go into enemy territory? Oh, and we have a shipyard. Good, because we got a bunch of ships that we captured that we want to just sell. $20 million. Good grief. All right, and this is another frigate. Another Navy frigate. Oops, that's four of them. Go to the outfitter. See if we got anything interesting that those guys were carrying. Not seeing anything too much. Some big batteries. Of course they had nerve gas. All right. I think I better do another check and make sure that nobody in my fleet is using any missiles. All right, who's using those missiles? Torpedo launcher. Cell. Sidewinder missile launcher. Cell. Sidewinder missile pods. Cell. Typhoon launcher. Cell. Flamethrower. That's all my finches. All right, so everybody who had, let's see, let's put in plasma cannons. And then put in those. Anybody have any turrets that we don't want? Not seeing any. Okay. Good. That's good. Right. 276 million. The only ships that you can buy here are shuttles, star barges, sparrows. I could buy a lot of sparrows. I could buy, let's see, 400,000 and I got 200 million. I could buy a lot of sparrows. I could just buy a couple hundred of them. That would be kind of fun to watch, but wasteful. Job board. Fleet of large marauder ships. Okay, I got to go up here and then bring them back to here. So 35 tons of perfume is going there. Fleet of large marauder ships led by the sadistic Morning Star. Another fleet of large marauder ships. Okay, what's going down here? 3 passengers, just a passenger. Okay, over here, 2 workers and a tourist. Still got over 1,000 bunks. Bunk. 26 people looking to join a colony. Passenger to Skymoot. 15 people looking to join a colony on Zug. All right. We're good. Let's look for them here. And actually, let's go down here, over here, and then up here. All right. Down here. Oh, and I don't know if we're going to land there, but I know we're going to land in Clark or in New Tibet. And they need luxury goods, so buy all. All right, down here first because we're looking for some marauders. And they aren't there, just our luck. If they also aren't in way, we're gonna change our status here. close up there. Another Marauder Leviathan. What are the odds? And it blows up. Firebird. Firebird. The sadistic Morningstar has been eliminated. Yay, team. Alright, now up here to Mulafon. What a mess. You land on New Kansas and meet up with the fleet you will be escorting. A few minutes later, an urgent message comes from Alondo. We've got a crazy situation here. Return to New Bed immediately with the convoy. You will find a Navy Oathkeeper ship in orbit. Do not attack them. Just see to it that the convoy lands safely. The Oathkeepers are the Navy officers who swore not to fight the free worlds, so you can't help but wondering what they are doing in New Tibet. Yep. Okay. Any southern jobs? Anything going this way? Because that's where I'm going. Three tourists want to see Trinket. Three petty criminals. I can handle them. Provided my brake doesn't get destroyed. Alright, so drop off all our cargo and passengers, and you land the convoy safely on New Tibet, but everyone seems to be busy with whatever new crisis it is that Alondo alluded to. No one approaches you to help unload the ships. Eventually, you track down Alondo and ask what is going on and why there's a neutral Navy ship in orbit. We just received word that Poisonwood has been captured by pirates, while all of our fleets were busy guarding the front, she says Alondo. You recall that Poisonwood has remained loyal to the Republic even though they are deep inside Free World's territory. If we liberate them, will they switch their loyalty to our side? Possibly, says Alondo, but that's not what is important. Before they were overrun by pirate troops, one of the colonists managed to take a photo of the pirate leader. He hands you a small printout of a photograph that is a somewhat blurry picture of a group of armed pirates running down a street in a desert town. What grabs your attention immediately is that several of the pirates uh, appear to have green skin. You recognize that as the mark of the Alphas, the sociopathic, genetically engineered superhumans who enslaved entire planets during the Alpha Wars 5 centuries ago. It must be a trick. There can't still be alphas around. Maybe the pirates dyed their skin green to make people fear them? Alondo says, this may be a trick, but we can't afford to take that risk. The alphas were the greatest threat humanity has ever faced, and before they contacted us for help, Poisonwood reached out to the Navy. As he was speaking, a shadow passes overhead. You look up and see the unmistakable silhouette of a Navy cruiser coming in for a landing. We're going to work side by side with the Navy right after that awful battle. Alondo explains it's only one cruiser, an Oathkeeper ship, sworn to take no part in our war. The free worlds have almost no troops trained for ground combat, so without the Navy's help, we would be unlikely to be able to eliminate the Alphas. The Navy ship lands and a man steps off, who you recognize immediately. Admiral William Danforth, who is something of a folk hero throughout human space, and who you have heard is the commander of the entire Oathkeeper regiment. With him is a man who he introduces as Commander Aaron Wynne of the Navy Humanitarian Corps. As Wynne shakes your hand, you are struck by the fact that although he is your enemy, you see no trace of hostility in his eyes. In fact, his expression is surprisingly warm and affectionate. We have no room for error, says Danforth. These alphas must be eliminated, and they must not be allowed to escape. On that, at least, we can all agree. Alondo says Captain Gremlin will lead the attack. He beckons to two of the free world's captains. Marco, Emily, you will join them with your falcons. Destroy any pirate ships in orbit, then land and secure the facility. Understood? You nod and prepare to take off for the Graphia system. All right, so now we can sell our goods here. And there's no outfitter. So I'm just going to carry this nerve gas that I'm sure I'm hauling around. Load up some more passengers. Hey, I'm only down to 900 bucks free. 32 tons of sheep. Yeah, no thank you. Passenger, single passenger. And 17 tons of depleted uranium. Yeah, no thank you. All right, and then what do we got here? Mining, fly through, escort. So, Graphias. And we're going to stop in Alineat to let everybody gather up together. Whoops. Graphias needs industrial. And we're going to stop here. Okay. All right, let's go hunt some pirates. You've defeated the Swarm Lord and its fleet. Report to Cornucopia. Oh, okay. So we did that. The ships in orbit are eliminated, but there are still Alphas and their servants here on the ground to take care of. Danforth's ship unloads a squadron of troops in heavy battle suits. The Navy troops move with far more precision and purpose than you have ever seen among the poorly trained free world soldiers. They sweep the city and quickly ascertain that the Alphas are holed up in a large factory. The troops encircle the building and burst through the doors, and soon you hear the sounds of explosions and gunfire within. You wait with Commander Wynne in an alley facing the building. I'm with the Humanitarian Corps, he explains. Killing things is not in my job description. Just then, one of the second floor windows shatters, and a figure comes tumbling out, rolls, and starts running in your direction. Then it does something you would swear no being is capable of. While still moving in your direction, it begins leaping from one wall of the alley to the other as easily as you would run up a staircase, gaining altitude with each jump so that it soon will pass 2 or 3 meters above your heads. Several Navy troops are running after it, but they hold their fire to avoid hitting you and win. Try to shoot it, try to grab it. I'd rather capture it. Try to grab it. Unfortunately, by now the creature is far outside your reach, but then you see Commander Wynne climb onto a nearby dumpster and leap into the air, managing to grab the creature by the leg as it flies by. The two of them fall to the ground and roll over and over in a jumble of limbs. You and the Navy troops run after them, afraid to shoot for fear of hitting Wynne. But somehow, Wynne gets the upper hand, pinning the creature in a full Nelson hold, with his legs wrapped around its body to keep it from kicking him. Kill it, he shouts. Do we kill it or let the Navy troops deal with it? Let the Navy troops deal with it. While Wynne holds the creature still, one of the Navy troops puts a gun to its head and pulls the trigger. Not even an Alpha can survive that. The creature goes limp. Now that you can get a good look at it, you can see that it does indeed have green skin. Wynne gets shakily to his feet. He looks stunned and very pale. Thank you, he says. The sounds of gunfire within the factory eventually die down. We'll continue to patrol the city, says Wynne, in case there are more of them. Then I'll meet you in the spaceport. He heads back to the city. That was exciting. Oh, look, there's an outfitter. Let's take care of some of these ships that I've captured and get the nerve gas off of them. Oh, they don't have any. Well, that's refreshing. Must be a shortage. Mm, they got a lot of missiles, though. All right. Sell, 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 sell. And they don't sell any guns here? Well, that sucks. All right, they'll just be unarmed. Fair enough. Job board. Small marauder gang causing trouble within 2 jumps. Yeah, nope. All right. What do we got? Go to the spaceport. It looks like. When you meet up with Wynn, he looks very worried. We think we killed them all, he says, but we can't be sure. Also, we recovered some instruments for genetic manipulation from the factory. The alphas can't breed normally because if their offspring inherit some of the alpha mutations but not others, the result is rarely viable. And even those that live long enough to be born don't have all the alpha traits. So they rely on artificial insemination instead. Well, it's good news that you recovered those instruments then. It would be, says Wynne, except that we also discovered that several dozen of the women who were taken as slaves are now pregnant. We'll have to ask them to terminate their pregnancies. It's the only safe decision, but I still don't like it. He sighs. I'm a Buddhist, committed to doing harm to no living thing. That's why I joined the Humanitarian Corps. They promised me I'd never be asked to take a life. Is that why you didn't kill the alpha yourself on the street? Or that doesn't seem like a moral dilemma to me. We know those children will grow up to be monsters. Couldn't we let the children be born if that's what the women want, then imprison them or something if they do turn out to be alphas? The alphas were originally bred to be super soldiers, he says, a weapon in the hands of a despotic government. As much as I hate to admit it, there are certain branches of the Republic who would love to get their hands on a small army of impressionable alpha children. Far better for them to die than for that to happen. Anyway, that's my job to deal with. You need to go find Danforth. He leaves and you return to Danforth's ship. Danforth says, "Hello there, temporary ally. It was an honor to fight alongside you while it lasted." You too. I just wish we could bring this war to an end. I know, he says, but for now I need to return to my fleet, which means I'll be needing an escort out of your territory just to make sure that no one attacks me. Maybe you could take us by way of New Tibet. I'm sure Commander Wynne would appreciate one last visit to the Buddhist monasteries there before that world becomes closed off to us completely. You agree, and he begins preparing his ship for takeoff. So we're going to New Tibet up here. And they are in need of metal. yours or you report into Alondo, who listens to your description of the battle for Poisonwood with a grim expression on his face. It's not the end, of course, he says. It seems like no matter how many times we win a battle against the Alphas, there are more of them out there. But I'm glad that the immediate crisis has been dealt with. Isn't there any way we can track down the rest of the Alphas? Not really, he says. There are probably small enclaves throughout human space, and perhaps beyond our space as well. All we can do is make it harder for them to grow powerful. And how do we do that? The Senate has authorized a diplomatic mission to Bloodsea, he says. It's the smallest of the pirate worlds, and we're going to see what we need to offer them to get them to join the free worlds. The official settlements there only amount to a few thousand people, so it shouldn't be too hard to convince them of joining us is better than resisting us. Okay, sounds like fun, or wait, didn't things go south rather quickly the last time we attempted this? Alondo grins. Yes, but the free worlds are in a much stronger position now, and the pirate worlds know it's only a matter of time before they are forced to become civilized. And the incident on Poisonwood proved that we can't afford to fight a war on two fronts. We need to eliminate the pirate threat, and a diplomatic solution with them is the only sort that will last. Let's get going. All right, if you say so. We are going to, let's see, large marauders, escort, and escort. Okay, what do we got? 48 people, colony on Zug. Da, da, da. 52 people to Sundrinker, and a passenger to Sundrinker, and yeah, 3 factory workers. All right, we're good. So, where are we going? We're going to Bloodsea. That's a pirate world that we've dominated. And in Bloodsea, we will sell medical supplies. So we'll go through way and just all the way down. The local leaders are unwilling to meet aboard your ship, and Alondo is afraid you will be ambushed if you venture too far away from it. So eventually they agree to set up a tent on the landing pad next to yours and meet. Outside, a storm is raging, the rain mixing with salt spray from the blood red ocean nearby. As you talk, it becomes clear that the inhabitants of Bloodsea are ashamed of how destitute and undeveloped their world is. Several of them had visited the island spaceport on Deep, and after dancing around the issue for a while, they make a request. If the Free Worlds builds them a real modern island spaceport, they will join the Free Worlds. One of them lays out a detailed list of amenities this port must have: concrete seawalls, raised landing pads, floating docks, sturdy hangars and warehouses, and various defense systems. For when the others learn that we've decided to join you. Also, the deal is off if you show up in orbit with a fleet that looks like an invasion fleet rather than a construction fleet. You thank them and return to your ship. Alondo asks, "What do you think?" Well, building a spaceport is probably cheaper than fighting a major battle, or they're asking a lot. Why don't we just invade them? That's certainly the simpler option, he says. Tomek may have been punished for disobeying the Senate orders, but we're in a different situation now. Our numbers have swelled because of our victories in new territory, and we now have the dreadnoughts at our disposal, so occupying Bloodsea is now a viable option. You're on the council now, he says. I'll leave it up to you. Option one is we bring them the supplies and workers in merchant ships, but use very heavily armed merchant ships in case they double cross us. Option two is we go to Dancer and see if JJ can lend us an invasion fleet while I convince the Senate that attacking Bloodsea is the better decision. All right, so we have an option here. We have, what do they have here? Oh, look, they sell barracks. So barracks are interesting. I don't know if I've gone over this before, but barracks allows you to use cargo space for troops. Um, it allowed, I think I used barracks for uh, one of my ships that had big cargo space. Fortunately, our current flagship has lots of troops and lots of cargo space, so we don't need them. But it's nice to see that they're available. Um, I think we're good. I think we got everything we need here. So, invasion fleet or get ships from Zug. In order to work toward a peace treaty, meet up with a convoy of heavily armed, uh, uh, yeah, heavily armed merchant ships. All right, that's what we're gonna do. I don't want to. I don't have a need to invade them. Not feeling it. They need equipment. And Zug. Wait for all of our Navy ships to catch up because they don't have jump drives. Colonists hand you 378,000 credits. The colonists hand you 170,000 credits. Waiting for you in the spaceport on Zug are two behemoth heavy freighters, which will be carrying the equipment and workers to Bloodsea. You can't help but notice that nearly a third of their cargo space has been converted into extra outfit space, and both ships have a pair of plasma turrets mounted on them and what looks like torpedo launchers as well. While you are on Zug, you and Alondo meet up with Freya and ask how the Dreadnought production is going. We're nearly there, she says. Just one or two kinks left to work out. They've produced another two prototypes, but not enough to start selling them yet. I know you're itching to pilot one of your own. Believe me, we're working as fast as possible. Your next step is to pick up more workers and construction supplies on deep in the Corniforus system. All right. So, my next step is to sell some of these ships we've been acquiring. $13 million. Let's see what we got here. We got nope, nothing good from them. We are in a place where we can buy uh, different weapons. So let's do that. Let's sell all these and all of these and buy a bunch of those. All right. And I think that's good. Thermal repeater turrets, plasma turrets, blaster turrets. Okay. Good, good, good. Lots of weapons. And what do we got here? We got a gunboat and 2 frigates. Gunboat, 2 frigates. Gunboat, 1, 2 frigates. Somewhere along the way we lost our whatever it was. That's why they're there. Cannon fodder. All right, so what did we say? Supplies from deep. And then what do we have here? All right, here, rich student. Take that. Glaze. Passenger to glaze. That's about it. 2 passengers to Sundrinker. 56 people hoping to join a colony. 4 tourists. All right. So right to deep, Corneo Force, They need medical. Gang's all here. Drop off cargo. Drop off cargo. You stop on deep and wait as more supplies are loaded onto the two behemoths you are escorting. Your final stop is Blood Sea. Alonda thought it likely that some pirates would try to intercept your convoy and steal its cargo, but as long as both freighters land on the planet without being captured or destroyed, you will be able to begin the construction project and thus meet the demands to convince them to join the free worlds. Yay. So watch out for pirates. Fleet of large marauder ships. 2 passengers to Glaze. 2 tourists to Wayfarer. Family of 3 mill workers. All right, here we go. Nope, no marauders here. A few of the locals on Bloodsea appear surprised that you actually brought the supplies and that you arrived with all the supplies intact. But after meeting up with Alondo, they agree to hold their side of the bargain. From now on, Bloodsea will be a part of the free world, with all the rights and responsibilities that implies, and that means that they will refuse to knowingly harbor any pirate fleets or other known criminals. Londo tells you that he will catch a ride back with the freighters when they return, but you'll probably want to head out sooner because I've got some good news for you. Freya just contacted me and says they're now ready to start selling dreadnoughts to certain select members of the free worlds, including you. That also means she's done with her work on Zug, so she'll need a lift. So she'll need you to give her a lift from there. All right, so off to Zug to look at these dreadnoughts. Let's go take a look. Zug needs 15 tons of stolen microchips without being caught. Oh, I'm on a pirate world. That's funny. Well, we're not going to be a pirate anymore. Energy cannons all the way up there, 240 tons, 600,000. Competition near Antares. Poker players. That always seems sketchy. All right, ports, equipment. Come on. So, we've dominated Bloodsea before it became a free world's planet. Now it's no longer a pirate planet, but we still dominate it. They're getting protection money from them. Find the contact at the edge of the spaceport. Your cargo of stolen microchips is removed from your ship and you collect your payment. Freya comes to your ship soon after you land. She is beaming and looks more relaxed than you've seen her in months. Southbound shipyards is churning out dreadnoughts now, she says, still only at a rate of one a week or so. But for a ship that this big, that's quite impressive, and it means you can now buy one of your own if you've got enough savings. Seriously, even if you can't afford one yet, be sure to stop by the shipyard and check them out. She is clearly very proud. Great job, Freya. I'm really glad to have a talented engineer on the council to help get things done. She smiles. Thanks, it was actually really refreshing to be able to tackle a concrete, solvable problem for a change, instead of all this nebulous political stuff. Speaking of which, our next stop will be to go visit JJ. He's going to be doing the diplomatic outreach to Albatross. You ask, wait, doesn't Alondo usually handle the diplomacy? Usually, yes, she says, but the locals on Albatross specifically ask for JJ. They're a very traditional population, and JJ is well known as both a family man and a brave soldier, whereas Alondo is Alondo. Wait, I don't understand. Why don't they like Alondo? She looks genuinely surprised that you don't know. Alondo is gay, she says. There are few worlds here in the South where that would bother anyone, but Albatross is one of them. So Alondo is taking a break to go visit the Senate while JJ deals with this particular diplomatic situation. Okay, I feel silly for even asking. Let's go meet up with JJ. Or, actually, I'm gay too. Or, that certainly explains some things. It seems crazy that anyone would be bothered by that in this day and age. Okay, I feel silly for even asking. Let's go meet with JJ. She looks genuinely so. Oh, I already said that. Okay, trading, shipyard. I don't have anything that I've captured recently, so that's good. Let's look at these dreadnoughts. Heavy warship dreadnought. 7,300 hull, 18,000 shields, 100 tons of cargo space. Requires 87 crew. Uh, Max speed 411, acceleration 176, turning 78. Outfit space free, not much. Weapon capacity, engine capacity. Huh. Well, what's it carry? Some torpedoes. Bleh. Breeder reactor, torpedo launchers, heavy anti-missile turrets, and plasma turrets. Let's buy one to take a better look. How much do they cost? 18 million. I could buy 10 of them and not feel it. Pick a random name. Copper. All right, so now let's look at the copper. Go to the outfitter. Copper. Do away with the torpedo launchers and do away with one of the heavy anti-missile turrets and add a proton turret instead. Then put heavy lasers on. Nitrogen cooler, small, doesn't need a tactical jammer for me. Let's give it a limit breaker. How much fuel? 6. 1, 2, 3 of those. Has a thermionic and a breeder reactor. That's a lot for 1,000. Oh, 80. might be better off. Let's sell the breeder reactor, sell the thermionic, and buy 2 fission reactors instead. And it has, let's buy atomic steering to increase the steering a little bit. And 25 laser rifles. We don't need that. All right, well, we'll keep it. It's fine. It's got 29 space free, so let's add 29. Let's increase its shield generator. That leaves us with 14, which is just enough for a large radar jammer. Perfect. All right. Now let's buy 3 more of them and equip them exactly the same way. Buy, flash, buy, princess, and buy wine. All right. Now let's go to the outfitter. And okay, now they're all configured the same, just the way we like them. And let's move them up the ladder here. Can't have too many heavy warships, can you? I don't know. I like having them. And I gotta spend all this money on something. I still got over 200 million. All right. So let's put these here. They don't have jump drives. Let's take the jump drives. Out of these guys and put them on these guys. Yeah, that's the ticket. All right, so now they have jump drives, but my roosts don't, which is fine. They don't need them. Fleet of large marauder ships. If they're here, we're good. We're taking Freya to Dancer. Immediate transport, we can handle that. Passengers only. 5 petty criminals. Nope. Okay. 2 mill workers. 78 people. 40 people. 9 people. Thank you. All right. To Dancer through Zubin el Ganubi. I just like saying that. They need luxury goods. $150 ships. I'm assuming that includes all our drones and fighters. We could run into pirates on the way, marauders. There they are. The stained eye has been eliminated. Got it on auto jump when everybody's ready. We'll unload the free world soldiers. When you meet up with JJ, he looks exhausted. Our scouts are reporting that the Navy is building a massive base on New Iceland, he says, just a few jumps away from here. So every day I look up at the sky and wonder if today is the day when they will invade. You talk for a while and agree that despite the threat from the Navy, dealing with the pirates is important. JJ explains that Albatross started out as a sort of farming commune, independent but not associated with an illegal activity. but they were dominated by pirates, and since then, one pirate overlord after another has held sway over the planet. So, in principle at least, the locals ought to welcome the idea of free world's protection. While you are traveling with JJ, Freya agrees to stay here and work on a better surveillance network to give Dancer advance warning if the Navy decides to invade. Okay. It's a long campaign. We've already dominated Albatross. So it's going to be a pretty easy negotiation, I think. Single passenger to Skymoot. Nope. Three passengers to Humanica. And what do we have here? Nope. No Marauders. Okay. Straight to Albatross it is. And they need equipment. Your meeting with the elders of Albatross happens in secret, by night. They are afraid that if their current pirate overlord, Rick Bartlett, finds out that they have met with you, they will face retribution. JJ begins by describing the free world's offer, all the benefits of the Mutual Defense Pact, in exchange for an agreement to uphold human rights and the rule of law, plus offering financial support for the free world. Begging your pardon, says one of the elders, but what makes you different from any pirate organization that comes in here demanding our money in return for protection? Let JJ answer that or try to give an explanation myself. I'm going to let JJ answer that. JJ explains about the Senate that each world has a say in how the free world's income is spent. And he says, we will not take your children as slaves or force you to work in factories producing illegal drugs. The elder who spoke seems unconvinced. Seems to me that you council folks are the real rulers and your senate is a figurehead, he says. So I don't call that true democracy. Maybe, says another of the elders, but they're still better than Bartlett. I say if the free worlds can free us from him, we'll at least give their new government a try. A few of the others nod in agreement. They explain that to the best of their knowledge, Bartlett is spending most of his time over near the Zeta Achille system, plundering merchant convoys of heavy metals coming out of Rand and Oblivion. If you can destroy Bartlett and his flagship, the Dread, his followers will probably disperse. Soon after landing on Albatross, you receive an encoded message from Admiral Danforth, the leader of the Oath Keepers. Captain Gremlin, he says, I would like to thank you once again for allowing us to assist you on Poisonwood. Unfortunately, I have bad news that may concern you. Commander Wynne, who was with you when one of the Alphas was apprehended, has been assassinated, shot in the head at point blank range. His attacker has not been found. We fear that this may be retribution for his part in the action on Poisonwood, and we urge you and your crew to be cautious. With deepest regards, Danforth. Oh my, that's not good. I got a couple ships. Okay. Let's go to find this guy, Zeta Aquile. I don't know exactly where that is. So let's go to the find utility. Zeta. Oh, Rand. Holy smokes. That's clear the heck and gone. Are you sure? Hunt down Bartlett. Zeta Aquile. Only is personal the ship, the Dread, must be destroyed. Wow. All right. Militia fleet has been halting our regs. Ongoing serious. All right. So I'm going to go to this system here in Zeta Aquile and look for him. I got a bunch of wanted individual to Sun Drinker. Reach Sun Drinker without being caught by local law enforcement. I can take him. Plus a ton of battle trophies. Right? 16 tons of cargo to Wayfair. All right, I'm going to go right to this system that we haven't explored. I don't think I'm going to get to land on Rand. I'm going to come back, but I am going to go to Terra Z. So, what do they need? Luxury goods. And I am going to take the delivery to Wayfair. You follow the instructions specified in the job to an abandoned looking warehouse and find your cargo in unlabeled crates. As you load it onto your ship, you get the feeling that you're being watched. Great. Alright, let's go find this jerk. There's the Dread. It's a bastion. You have destroyed Rick Bartlett's ship. Hopefully now the elders on Albatross will be more inclined to bargain with the free worlds. Argosy. Alright, down to Terra Z. Alright, let's see if any of our ships get stuck up in Republic space. Looks like some of our Navy ships have. Like at least 12. You have reached Wayfarer, but not all of the cargo is in the system. Better depart and wait for your escorts to arrive. Wish passengers, say farewell to passengers, passengers, colonists, colonists, passengers, colonists, passengers, family. The neutral authorities fine you 50,000 credits upon scanning your vessel. Law enforcement notice the criminal that you have on board. Entering your ship to detain them, they find the criminal in the corner of one of the rooms of your ship, clutching their battle trophies and screaming, "You'll never take them from me!" After a short confrontation, they carry the criminal out and leave you with a small fine. This doesn't help to establish your reputation as a reliable, no questions asked reporter. You failed one mission after your illegal cargo was discovered. Oh well. And there's regular cargo that they want me to wait for. So let's go look for these marauders and we'll drop off in Saddle Mick too. Okay. So Saddle Mick needs electronics. Let's go to Umbral first. It's like just regular pirates, not marauders. All right, and now we'll go down to Enif. They're not there. We'll go to Albiero. There they are. The burning angels. All right, so off to Settlement. Wish your passengers best of luck. Quarg authorities fine you 100,000 credits for having illegal outfits, of course. Let's see what I picked up. Who has the nerve gas? Of course. All right. Back to Terrazet. I think most of our ships will have caught up with us by then. not all the departments, not everything's in the system. Boy, that's a pain. All right, let's go to the shipyard and sell these guys. 18 million credits. Don't want to buy anything. I got, how many kestrels? I still got 6 kestrels. Oh, I'm good. That's enough. And job board. Fleet of large marauder ships. Fleet of large marauder ships. All right, 2 of those. Let's see if we can find them. And then we'll go to Nunki, where they need equipment. Oh, you know what? Let's go back. I got some fines. Let's pay those. All right. Let's try Umbral first again. Nope, nothing up there. Let's try Enif. Nothing down there. Albiero. Not much there. So, gotta be adapt. There they are. The brain swarm in their fleet have been eliminated, and Rasputin the Saddest and their fleet have been eliminated. Alright, so let's go back to Nunki. Land on Albatross. When the elders on Albatross learn that you have destroyed Rick Bartlett and freed them from his rule, they grudgingly agree to join the free worlds, at least on a trial basis. You hope you will be able to live up to the promises you have given them. After you return to your ship, JJ says, so far, Freya says there have been no hints of a Navy attack against Dancer, and she has a new set of surveillance satellites up and running in Alpha Array to monitor fleet activity. So let's go meet up with her and decide what the next step should be. Yes, let's. Outfitter. Reload ammunition. That means I got a bunch of things that need ammunition. Yep. one cost me $1 million. Guys are gonna drive me crazy with this stuff. All right, let's give them some weapons. Let's install beam lasers, twin modified blasters, twin blasters, modified blasters, blasters, kludge blasters. Nothing? Okay, so they all got a bunch of lasers. And we're going to return to Dancer. Dancer. All right, and delivery to Sundrinker. Let's take that. And I don't want to do any more smuggling. That was that one guy. That was amusing, but not good for my reputation. Let's see what our reputation is. Rank 10, fearsome scrapper. Worth 667 million, with bountiful cargo and an unassailable fleet. We're getting 6,800 from the free worlds, 1,000 from that syndicate business, and then some in tribute. Unfortunately, my, my salary costs are extensive. Crew salaries are 300,000 a day. Something about having a huge fleet. When you land on Dancer, Freya has just received some exciting news. It turns out taking out Bartlett had some unexpected side effects. She says Bartlett has been hounding the systems on the northeast fringe of the dirt belt for years and had a lot of enemies. The governments of Rand and Oblivion are so grateful to you for eliminating him that they've reached out to us to begin the process of joining the free worlds. And several other worlds in that region are interested now too. JJ frowns. That's really awful timing, he says, and would put us in a really bad tactical position. Spread out and with the Navy right in the middle. Are you saying we shouldn't let them join even though they want to? Well, I say if they want to join us, we should let them. Who knows if they'll be this enthusiastic about the free worlds later if we let them down. JJ thinks about that for a moment, then says, well, I guess we should let them join. It will mean may need to launch an assault to drive the Navy off New Iceland. But if we do that, our tactical position shifts from one that's worse than what we have now to something much better. Freya, did they say if there's any sign that the Navy has gotten word of this? A few carriers are in orbit around Rand, she says, so they must suspect something, but the bulk of the Navy fleet is still to the north and east of here. JJ says, okay, Captain, here's what I propose. We'll leave the bulk of our fleet here to defend Dancer and New Portland, but take a few of our best ships to Zeta Achille and drive out the Navy. Freya and I will travel with you so that if we need to make any decisions, we'll have most of the council there in person. How does that sound? That sounds like a good plan. Let's do it. Back to Rand. And this time we're going to land. So, Rand needs luxury goods or food. Food. 350 profit for food. All right. And got all these new ships that I captured. Let's check them for nerve gas. Nope. Oh, one of them's a cruiser. Let's put it up with the others. I got about 15 of them now. Just a little collection, you know. How many do I have? 1, 2, 10. No, 12, 13. 13. It's just 13 Navy cruisers. No big deal. Oh boy. Uh, these 2 gunboats have electron turrets. And electron beams. Next time I'm in a shipyard, I'm going to do some jiggering around because I want those on my capital ships, not on little Navy gunboats. Definitely not on little Navy gunboats. All right, off to Rand. Oh, what do we got here? Fleet of large marauder ships. Another fleet of marauder ships. Another fleet of marauder ships. So let's see if they're in Delta Sagittari. Oh, do we have any passenger jobs that we can take on? Timed escort. We got here. Outfitters running low. Passenger to Albatross. Doesn't look like anything. Nope. Okay. Off to Rand through Delta Sagittarius. Actually, through Alpha Array, then down to Delta Sagittarius. And we already know what we're going to sell at Rand, so we're good. So we just need to mark this as our destination. ships, so let's not go there. Let's go to Delta Sagittarii. There's our Marauder fleet. And we've completely wiped them out. One of them. And another one. We've got a couple ships to capture. Balthazar the Dreadvillain. We got all three of them, I think. The Army of Insanity and their fleet have been eliminated. Alright, good job, guys. Let's go to Zeta Aquilae. Bunch of carriers. Kestrel has been destroyed. Oh no. Let's try this again. At slow speed. Army of Insanity and their fleet have been destroyed. Simon's Spectre has been destroyed. Balthazar the Dreadful has been destroyed. Alright. Now, up here. And up here. And off to Zeta Aquilae. Gunboat survived, neither of their carriers did. I'm gonna end up with a bunch of lances that I don't have room for. I suspect I'll have room for the combat drones. I really would like to capture a carrier or two. I mean, I've got my roosts. You meet up with the governor of Rand and sign the papers to make her planet a part of the free worlds. The nearby systems are reporting no Navy interference. They seem to have been allowed to switch allegiances without any attempt by the Republic to stop them. Of course, that might be partly because these are mining planets, not as necessary to the Republic's survival as the farming worlds on the other end of the dirt belt. Freya leaves the meeting to check up on her surveillance network and rushes back into the system a few minutes later. JJ takes one look at the expression on her face and quickly excuses himself from the table. You join him outside in the hallway and he asks Freya what's going on. The Navy just invaded Delta Sagittarii and Rastaban, she says. We're cut off from the rest of free space. Our defense fleet was woefully outnumbered. Many ships were destroyed and the rest fled back towards the rim or to Terrazed. I was afraid of this, says JJ, but I didn't think it would happen so quickly. I wonder if they knew that these new worlds were joining us and deliberately used them as a diversion. Well, what do we do now? JJ says, Freya, you said part of our fleet fled to Terrazed? Yes, she says. Probably not a strong enough fleet to drive them off, though. Well, I guess we should regroup with them, he says. Hopefully, then we can plan a coordinated strike. Or if necessary, we can abandon this sector and get our fleet back to the rim without losing too many ships. Captain Gremlin, can you take us to Wayfarer in the Terrazed system? Sure. Here we go. I know how to get there. Posing as a merchant ship. Novice pilot seeks instruction. 35 tons of sombreros to Wayfarer. That seems like an excessive amount of sombreros. I mean, how many sombreros does one planet need? It does seem a lot. All right. Off to Terrazed. And let's see. Best bet is heavy metals. 8 ships that will be unable to leave the system. With all those lances. Alright, we're in Terrazed. Let's see if everybody makes it. Looks like it. Drop off your cargo of sombreros. Drop off the unlabeled cargo in a warehouse not too dissimilar to the one you picked it up in. A man dressed in a cloak hands you 10,240 credits after the last crate is removed from your ship. The fleet in orbit around Wayfarer is pitifully small, surely not enough to take on more than a couple of Navy capital ship. JJ orders one of their communication officers to try to establish a secure link to Bourne or to any free worlds post on the other side of the Navy blockade. After about 10 minutes, the officer returns to say, Sir, we've received new communications from New Tibet sent earlier today. You need to talk to them. Our fleet is there? Asked JJ. No, sir, it's the Syndicate. The Syndicate has a war fleet in Alioth. What? Says JJ. He rushes into the communication room, and you and Freya follow. Play the communication, JJ says. On the video screen is a Buddhist monk in a maroon robe. Behind him, you see other monks rushing about with none of the serenity you would usually expect of them. The monk explains, I pray that this communication reaches the council. Yesterday, a syndicate ship landed near our monastery, and the pilot sought refuge with us. He claims to have evidence that the syndicate, or some faction within the syndicate, was behind the attacks on Geminus and Martini. That's the nuclear attacks that started this whole thing. Evidence that a certain faction within the syndicate values economic growth above all else, says the monk, and incited this war for that reason. That's insane, says Freya, but not completely impossible, says JJ. Continue watching the communication. The video of the monk continues. He was unable to show us this evidence, but he made claims of having plans for a nuclear device. After arriving, he hid his ship in a cave just before a syndicate fleet appeared in orbit. They do not know where the defector landed, so they have begun searching settlement to settlement on the assumption that one is harboring him. They are currently here, wrecking the monastery in their hunt. After a moment, JJ says, if these allegations are true, if we can prove that the free worlds were innocent of any involvement in these attacks, the Republic might make peace with us, or at least agree to a ceasefire. I vote that we try to shelter this defector and hear his story. And if it's a lie, says Freya, and we refuse the syndicate's request, we lose our only ally. Many more civilians will be killed if we continue to fight without their backing, and we don't even know what this supposed evidence actually is. I care about justice, but trading a definite ally for a slim possibility of peace that is an unwise investment. I vote that we hand this man over to the syndicate. Continue watching the communication. You look back at the video screen, to see that the monk is gone, replaced by a man in a syndicate security uniform. Greetings, council members. I'm sorry for the confusion, but please understand that we're hunting a terrorist. This man claiming that we are the ones that caused the bombings is, in fact, the leader of the extremist group that caused them. He developed the nukes with the help of a faction of pirates looking to profit from the instability, and now, when we're finally close to capturing him, he's attempting to frame us for his own crimes against humanity. Allow us to find him, and we'll. The feed cuts off. The message ended there, the communications officer says. The room falls silent. JJ breaks the silence. I still say we rescue this defector. The syndicate could be lying to us. They don't exactly have a reputation for upstanding morality after all. Or this defector could be the one lying, Freya says. I say we let them have him while we focus on defending against the Navy. If the syndicate gets their hands on the true terrorist, their support will surely clear our name. Parliament won't be able to ignore the syndicate vindicating us. As the third council member present, you have the deciding vote, and the entire course of this war may rest on your decision. Oh, no pressure then. I say we rescue the defector even if it means war with the syndicate. Or I say we let the syndicate have the terrorist and focus on winning the battle against the Republic. We're never going to win a war against the whole Republic, but we might win one against the whole syndicate. I say we rescue the defender even if it means war with the syndicate. Are you sure? Asks Freya. The syndicate has done a lot for us in the past. Yeah, no, they're pretty shady. Yes, I'm sure. We'll rescue the defector. JJ seems very relieved at your choice. I think that's the right choice, Captain, he says. We can take the fleet we have there, sweep up north to avoid the thickest part of the Navy's occupying fleet, and cut over to New Tibet to question this syndicate in person. All right, let's do that. Shipyard. I have some ships that I captured. I have a mess of ships that I captured, including a bunch of Navy ships, drones and lances, and a gunboat. course, a gunboat. But let me sell these guys ranging from a Starbus to an Osprey. 20 million. Holy smokes. Oh, what did I do? I wanted to sell them. Sell them. Okay. All right. We sold them. Whew. All right. Where's that gunboat? There it is. I'm not even going to try and rearrange the drones and fighters. Holy smokes. That's crazy. All right. Reload ammunition for your ships. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Who's carrying stuff now? All right. Sidewinder missile pods. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, so who has electron beams? This guy, and this guy. So let's put those in storage. Let's put their electron turrets in storage. Let's instead buy heavy laser turrets and heavy lasers. All right, and then let's take my dreadnoughts, and I've got 4 of them. You install. Better need another outfit expansion. Install. Install, install. Okay. That gives me 4, 4, 4, 4. All right. And then I'm going to take my dreadnought and I'm going to sell their plasma turrets and install electron turrets and proton turrets. There we go. Okay. All right. And trading's done. Job board. What do we have in storage? What the heck? Oh, heavy lasers. Sell. All right. Bank is good. Job board. Fleet of marauder ships. Uh, yeah. Mining. Mining. All right. So we're going to go up to here and then jump across to Alioth. I don't have any other pure passenger jobs, just one. So we'll go up to here. And Alioth needs metal. weren't there, so we'll just continue up. And there's you spot the Syndicate fleet orbiting above New Tibet when you enter the system. But to your surprise, they begin targeting your ship. They don't seem very interested in answering any questions about the defector. We've got a solution for that. A manta. Quicksilver. Another Quicksilver. Another manta. A scrapper. That's just a pirate. Public Outrider. Another one. And another one. What am I still missing? It doesn't take long to find the monastery that contacted you earlier. Nothing is left of it but the burned out shells of buildings. You hurry to land and look around for survivors. You find several corpses dressed in maroon robes, some of them badly burnt, but no sign of the defector or the monk who sent the message. Wait to see if anyone approaches now that the syndicate fleet is gone. You wait around for a while, but this mountain valley seems to be entirely desolate. Then, finally, when you're about to give up hope, Freya spots the distant figures of a few dozen people coming down from the side of the mountain. As you wait for them to approach, JJ receives a message from one of the militia crews. Sir, you have incoming a scout ship with Republic markings, apparently unarmed. Shall we intercept them? Oath keepers? Asked JJ. Or ordinary Navy? Who are they? Voice on the other end pauses. Neither. Navy intelligence. JJ thinks about that for a second, then says, let them land, but follow them down, and if you see so much as a hint of them powering up weapons, blow them out of the sky. Understand? The officer acknowledges his order and signs off. As the group of monks approaches, this is a seminal moment in the whole story. As the group of monks approaches from the mountainside, the scout ship comes in for a landing and skids to a halt in the dirt a few dozen meters away. A woman steps off of it. She has dark skin and is entirely dressed in black. Even the whites of her eyes are black. When she gets closer, you can see that it is actually a scleric tattoo, an intricate Celtic knotwork pattern inked into the whites of her eyes. She sees you staring at her and winks at you with a friendly grin. Great. That's not creepy at all. I'm Captain Gremlin of the Free Worlds. What is your business here? Or who are you and what gives you the right to land on our planet? No, I'm Captain Gremlin. My name is Raven, she says. I'm here to question this defector. If he is telling the truth, the war with you will end today. She pauses, then adds grimly, and another war will begin. The monks approach, and you see that among them is a man in more ordinary attire who must be the defector. Now, says Raven, I will question him alone on my ship. Very well, we'll wait outside, or no, we insist on being present. No, we insist on being present. She hesitates for a long moment. This is probably going against whatever orders she is following. But finally she says, very well. The monks step aside. She approaches the defector and reaches out her hands to him. Hesitantly, he takes her hands. It's an oddly intimate scene, the two of them quietly holding hands and locking eyes, not like any interrogation you have ever seen before. Now, she says, tell me your story. My name is Sawyer, says the man. I'm a physicist, a syndicate employee. We had a secret project on Mutiny, a planet in a pirate system. We were developing nuclear weapons. He hesitates and looks away for a second, then says, they told me it was for fighting the pirates. I didn't realize otherwise until. That is a lie, says Raven, calmly. He seems flustered. Okay, they didn't tell me what the weapons were for, and I didn't ask. Why did you wait so long to report this, or why would the syndicate attack the Republic? Did you wait so long to report us? He says it was when I heard that there had been another major battle. Up until then, I had been telling myself that the worst of the damage was done. But after that battle, I knew that millions more could die because of our crime, and that I had the power to stop it. Raven continues to ask questions. Who was involved? How the facility was hidden? Where the raw materials come from? At one point, JJ pulls you aside and says, she's a questioner. How they operate is a tightly kept secret. I'd always assumed their methods were a bit more medieval. Finally, Raven is satisfied and radios her ship. He's telling the truth, she tells them. Send word to the admirals at once and release the captive. The door of her ship slides open, and another woman steps out, shakily, hesitantly, shielding her eyes against the sunlight. It takes you a few seconds to realize that it's Katya. As you all rush over to greet Katya, Raven taps your shoulder and says quietly, meet me in this main spaceport in a few hours and we'll figure out what's going to happen next. She returns to her ship. So this is a good place to stop for the day. This is a major turning point in the story. We're no longer at war with the Republic. We're now at war, in a way, with the Syndicate, or at least some element of the Syndicate. And things are about to get really, really crazy after that. So, um, I hope you're enjoying this. We're probably, I'd say this is past the half point of the free worlds storyline. Um, but there's a lot left to come. There's uh, alien races that we need to contact, and there is uh, more battles, a lot more battles coming up. So it'll be fun. Anyway, that's it for now, and hope you're enjoying it. So later, alligator.